right, we're back for more Versus Live. I'm Todd Anderson.
I'm Brad Nelson.
And Ross Merrim's over here in the booth. Say hi, Ross.
That's me. I was trying to come up with something clever to say, and I just didn't have anything.
That's what every TV show host in the history of TV has said.
Yeah,
So
I wanted to do something different.
Well, good thing we're not on TV, and we are streaming live on twitch.tv/SEG Tour.
Great.
That is what we're doing, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
You're welcome. I'm going to continue shuffling my deck.
Okay, so on this match, we're going to be piloting... what do you want to talk about your deck?
Izzet Spells. This is Owen Turtenwald's build of Izzet Spells.
AKA Dredge.
Todd, standard Dredge.
I'm just going to start throwing dice at you. I have a lot of dice over here. I'll
Children, we're putting on a performance.
Ross going to be called Dredge in here too. So.
Okay.
Yes, it's now on the overlay. Boros Aggro against Dredge.
Let's ignore him. Can we turn his mic off, please? Okay. So, Boros Angels decimated Golgari in our first match.
Yeah, it was actually a lot more gross than I thought. Dakota Leonagard showed up at just the right time in game 2. We never played it on turn 2 to like stifle your development with but I can only imagine that it's significantly better in those few turns.
I mean, I've continued the trend of never drawing the cards in Golgari that I desperatly need.
I mean,
finality when I need it.
Well, I mean, you also put them in the graveyard when you need them. So
it is true.
With your Explorer.
Yeah.
On turn 2.
I got punished.
Yeah.
I did get punished. But yeah, so now we're moving on to Izzet Spells. This is Owen Turtenwald's build of it. He's been working on it all week. His article tomorrow or on Star City Games this Friday is this deck and with a sideboard guide and primer. And so I'm definitely going to be reading that. That's going to be good info going into this weekend.
Dude, if it's got steam vents in it,
it's got 4.
I'm looking at it.
It's got 4.
I'm reading all about it.
Yeah, it's got multiple Drakes. So many Drakes. Yeah.
Maximum velocity with
maximum
Enigma
velocity.
Drake.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking my language.
Yeah. Owen is speaking your
Why
language.
are you playing this deck? No.
Okay.
No, it's standard
stay?
Survivor.
Okay.
If you beat me, I get to play my Jeskai deck, which
That
is
true.
Which is fine. But yeah, we're going to continue match 2 of our standard Survivor, where we see if Boros can take it down, or if we're going to have the Izzet Spells, aka Dredge deck, play against the Azor's Gateway Jeskai control deck in our last match. I'm actually not sure how Boros is going to do here. I think I have a reasonable amount of removal that's good at interacting, but some that's bad.
The matchup feels close. It feels if I'm doing my thing or if you're doing your thing on the play, it's a tough matchup on either side.
Yeah. Are we rolling or you just get to go first?
I get to go first.
Oh, great. All right, well, I'm going to turn...
I have to mulligan.
Oh, no. Let's turn Ross's mic back on so he can ask some questions from Twitch chat.
Did they really turn my mic off?
Oh, yeah, Robert turned it off. 100%. Robert's my guy.
We got one from Violator. Wants to know, what are the best sideboard cards for Boros against control?
Well, you got a lot of good ones main deck. Banefire, I think, is the one that's key that should see a lot of play on the sideboard. Even if Banefire is just X equals 5, you usually get them down low enough where you can just Banefire them for 5 and it just ends the game. I know this because it's happened to me a lot. As a control pilot, I get destroyed by Banefire out of basically every aggressive deck that has red.
All right, well, we're going to keep this. This card gets a little bit worse, I do believe, especially since we have this. But it's a good one. Only if this survives, though. I'm going to keep it.
All right. We didn't really talk about my hand. I need to draw red mana, but I have a decent curve if I hit any land. So.
All right.
Before this game starts, I just want to say, Brad, your hair looks nice today.
Does it? I thought I had a bad hair day.
I think it looks good.
Thank you.
Oh.
Is that a joke?
No, somebody just asked me to tell you that your hair looks nice today.
Nice.
Well, thank you, person.
T.R. Thompson.
Well, now we have a weird decision.
It's telling that Brad immediately thinks that that's a joke somehow, and he's getting set up.
All right, we get an untap with an Electromancer. That's pretty good.
It's never a good day.
All right, so let's figure out what we're going to do with our turn. So we're going to cast this.
That's a good one. Are you discarding Drake?
No, I think I'm
yes! We're in good shape. If they ever discard Drake
idea.
on turn 3, we're usually dead. Radical
And
Idea,
let's-
discard Drake.
Discovery.
Okay.
Both to the
That's
both
not
graveyard.
how. Yeah, both graveyard. There you go. Now, if you go island, Radical Idea, discard Drake. The Drake comes back.
Oh, I know, but we didn't get there.
it's so good.
We did not find a Drake.
Turn through return Drake is just disgusting.
I think we're gonna have to go
Don't you mean Phoenix?
Phoenix. Yeah, no,
Or that's
Phoenix.
what I meant. Yeah, sorry.
Shock and attack for 2, and your turn.
18 all.
All right.
These Boros Guild Gates kind of mess me up. I don't really know what I should be doing land-wise. Like, I could have not played this on 2, played Guild Gate, and held up this turn. But I don't know. I think I just have to put pressure on stuff.
Beacon bolt that.
Dude, Beacon Bolt has been the card out of the last like week or whatever that has impressed me more than anything else.
Yeah, your turn.
Card is so good, especially against these Boros decks killing these giant flyers.
So terminate with flashback is good.
Yeah. Just gonna main phase Justice Striker thing.
Oh. Okay.
Go. I want to do it on main phase because if I wait till upkeep, he gets the mana cheapness off of Radical Idea, which can in turn let him Phoenix. What are you doing?
Oh wait, what?
I'm pretty sure
happens?
this was what you're supposed to draw for turn. I don't even know what's happening. Also, your land should be untapped. Keep it together, Brad.
Well, I'm drawing pretty poorly.
Supposed to be a
here.
professional.
I'm drawing pretty poorly here.
Okay. And that's
Excuses,
my experience with
excuses.
the deck is just
Go.
my getting mooshed. All right, Lyra, go. Big boom boom. Oh no, you have the beacon bolts. I gotta
Yeah.
play Phoenix instead. I'm sorry, I forgot you had beacon bolt. No. Gross.
Go.
All right, this again.
That's not good. Oh, that's not good. Go.
You're not dredging hard enough, Bradley.
It doesn't feel like it.
Attack for 4, put you to 14
Okay.
to 16. Play Knight of Grace, and I'm gonna lightning strike this. Your turn.
Mm.
Sure you want to play that?
I think so.
I mean, you got Jumpstart in your deck. I don't know. Maybe you do.
I have a lot of jumpstart.
Oh, that's fair. Okay,
ammo.
okay.
Go.
You don't want to kill this with your beacon bolt?
I don't think so. I think I'd rather just go to 10.
All right. Put you. No, you're at 14.
Oh, yeah, I shocked one. So I'm at 14.
6, so you're going to go to 8.
Yep.
You sure you want to do that?
Yep.
All right. Dawn to Vanguard, your turn. Man. Owen Turnwald. Ladies and gentlemen.
What the
I'm just kidding. No, the deck only plays like 22 lands or so. And
21, I
yeah,
think.
sometimes less. And if you just flood out like that, there's not a lot you can do.
I'm hoping that I'm going to eventually start winning in this format. I have tournaments coming up. I have not been doing
We have a
much.
tournament in 2 days.
Building back Guardian says, "Will Brad get a game today?" 8-Ball says unlikely.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to. All right.
Ask again later.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to go to sideboarding, and we'll figure it out from there. Hopefully we can get a comeback. All right.
We'll be right back.
All right, so here back from sideboarding, and one of the things that this deck has to do is upgrade its removal spells to deal with Phoenixes, Angels, all the big flyers, because the if there's even a flyer on the table, you're not going to be able to get a Phoenix through.
Yeah, I mean, most of my flyers, except for Resplendent Angel, have like toughness high enough to block and survive against Arclight Phoenix, and a lot of them have power enough to just trade with Enigma Drake or Crackling Drake too, which is nice.
Well, this version, since you saw the Electromancers, it doesn't have Enigma Drake.
Oh.
There's 2 different builds, and
Sure.
I was confused, and I said one because they go back and forth. This is the one that Owen has settled on.
Okay, no, that's fair. I mean, most of the versions I've played against were Enigma Drake, Crackling Drake, Arclight Phoenix, and they use maximum velocity with both Drakes as like a kind of a combo kill, which was really cool. But Electromancer does give you some added benefit early in the game, like really turbocharging a lot of your draws with things like Radical Idea and Arclight Phoenix. But you have to have that balance of instant sorceries and creatures. And if you have too many of either kind, you're either going to like sometimes draw too many lands or too many creatures or not enough juice to really fuel all these spells. Like you're kind of just dirtling.
All right, so yeah, I'm bringing in some big removal, Fire Cannonade to deal with History Benalia. Also, Fire Cannonade does a unique thing. It can pick off a different creature, and then force 4 damage from the Adento Vanguard. And that's just really nice. And that's the thing. We're taking shocks out. They just don't hit enough creatures in the matchup, and Cannonade is an upgrade. And these should be able to deal with a lot of your big flyers.
No, I agree. My side, I'm not a huge fan of Tecatli Honor Guard. Brad made the point that it doesn't die to Cannonade, Shock, and also turns off the draw ability of Crackling Drake. From my perspective, though, I'm the aggressor in the matchup. You know, I want to try to put as much pressure on Brad as I can. And Tecatli Honor Guard just doesn't hit for basically any damage. And even though it does attack for 1, survives all this stuff, I think it's just a little bit worse than Knight of Grace, although I think neither is very good. Adonto Vanguard is also going to be an interesting card to play with against Brad, just because, if he decides to target it a bunch with removal spells and I start just soaking damage from it, there's a chance he just burns me out as the game progresses. And that's pretty scary. So I'm going to have to keep in mind how to play against that. We're going to be boarding in 1 Huali Warrior Poet as just a big follow-up in case Brad has a sweeper or just too much removal. Planeswalkers in general are just much better after sideboard when your opponent has a bunch of spot removal for your creatures when you're playing an aggressive deck. And then 3 copies of Seal Away to give me some cheap answers, Electromancer, if he, tries to tempo me and attack with it, but also can just exile a Phoenix, which is a pretty big deal. These are the cards I was considering bringing in, the Banefires and the Settles. Settle is just kind of a more expensive Seal Away, and I don't think we want that many of this type of effect. And while Banefire is normally good against blue because they have counter spells, this particular build of blue doesn't have a lot of counter spells, and Banefire is just an inefficient removal spell / inefficient finisher.
Any questions coming in?
Yeah, we got one from W. Leadsma asking about mission briefing in the Izzet Spells deck.
More like mission griefing.
Yeah, I think that it doesn't work well with Electromancer. It doesn't cheapen anything besides a flashback card, and your deck already has a lot of access to cards like that. I don't think it's the kind of effect you want.
I mean, it is a card that just lets you play multiple spells in the same turn, and we've seen it in various Arclight builds, just as an extra way to. It basically just tacks on an additional spell to a spell you're casting for 2 mana, which isn't that bad when you're trying to trigger Arclight Phoenix. But as a general rule, I've already stated on social media multiple times, Mission Briefing is just not a Magic card. I'm just never going to put it in a deck. I'm just going to leave it at that.
It just doesn't exist.
It's just Snapcaster Mage that doesn't have a body, which is not a card.
It's seeing play in the modern mill deck.
Just shut up.
Where you don't care about the 2-1
modern.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Great. The Hedron crap deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Every deck needs upgrades.
Right. We don't really have a lot of other questions. I've just been having fun with chat making puns on Brad's name. So
I'm glad that you're getting paid for this.
Yeah. Good job, Ross.
When he dresses as a lumberjack, he's Plaid Nelson.
You could just go with Plaid Nelson for Halloween.
When Ross is in the root, I'm Mad Nelson.
Yep. When he's following the trends, he's Fad Nelson.
Nice. Okay. How's your hand, Brad? We're just gonna. Can you turn? All right, mic off.
I'm good. I'm good with. I'm a Glad Nelson with this hand.
Glad Nelson. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Glad Nelson with this hand.
Yeah, my hand is not odd. It is the opposite of odd Anderson.
When Jen is playable, he's Glad Nelson.
Just stop. I really will cut. I'm gonna. Dude,
How's this? What is this doing for you? What's this doing for you, Todd?
I can't even be happy because Ross won't stop.
Ross, stop. We're trying to play games over here.
It's fine. It resolves. Go ahead.
No, I want you to appreciate this.
I love it.
All right.
I want to do it.
All right, go.
That's all I ever want. And you always make fun of me. And then when no one does it, he's the smartest human being in the world.
Hey, look, he did not.
Mad.
He didn't put Amulet in his deck. Sorry. Oh, okay.
It's gonna deal 10. Oh, I'm so mad. I'm just so mad right now. To you. Oh, I hope I just 6-0 you today.
You might.
All right. I'll play another night. Go.
All right. Get my Crackling Drake on. Your turn.
I'm gonna Aurelia
Eek.
for you.
Take it.
Go. You're 14.
Okay, that was a nice top deck.
Uh-oh. Can they quote all this? Well, he's not getting back the Phoenix.
Nope, but I'm 5-ing ya.
Yep. So 15 to 14.
Your turn.
Okay, that's pretty good. All right, so he used a
Oh no, 4 in you. I counted Arclight Phoenix. It's only 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, sorry, I'm at 16.
It's 16.
Sorry, 16 to 14. Yeah, I mean he just used a lava coil, so I'm just gonna hope he doesn't have an answer for this one. Are we doing it?
We're doing it. All right. Is he dead? No, you're not dead.
Okay.
But
It's very close, though. I'm sure
Yeah,
you're
it is-
casting
it
3
is
spells.
close.
You're going to hit me for, 10 damage and kill my Phoenix.
we can bottom that, draw that,
And coil.
and coil.
Yikes.
So that is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
10 damage.
That's 10 damage.
I just told you how much. I know exactly how much every
Go.
amount of damage is
Stop
at every point in
yelling.
the game.
Why are you yelling? What is going on? You're just mad.
I'm very mad.
It's because you're playing the Izzet deck, Brad. He's jealous.
Well, that's...
Honestly, I'm pretty jealous too.
All right, well, let's start again.
Yeah, it's good. Sure. All right, this card's coming out of my deck.
Woo-wee.
Card looks embarrassing right now.
Oh, yeah, I get to draw it too, don't I?
Yeah, you sure do.
All right.
This card's embarrassing.
Yeah,
It's
I-
getting out of my deck.
I had more Drakes.
Yeah, Craggle Drake's great. I agree. Wow, you won a game.
I got a game. We won one. We did it. Put me on the board.
Yeah, we can change his name back to Brad Nelson.
Oh, he's not Mad Nelson
Russ.
anymore?
He was Draw Bradley Nelson.
Russ, your job is not just to change names. That's our job for you.
Look, just let him have his fun. We make puns on Ross's name all the time.
Now they're doing it for Todd. When Todd eats a fish fry, he's Cod Anderson. That's on Fridays only, though.
This feels like a group of kindergartners learning rhymes for the first time.
All right. Well, we need more stuff because we're not
Yeah,
cutting a
Russ.
break. And I'm not just going to sit here for 3 minutes while we shuffle and do nothing.
I'm
I need you to
defeated.
do your job.
One person's telling me my name is Sad Nelson, the other is just yelling in my face. I don't know what to do.
Okay.
I'm lost.
taking
Drizzy
out
Druster
the
wants to
frustration.
know your thoughts on Grixis Dragons. Base is it just splashing for Nicol Bolas?
Oh,
So is that Splash Nickel?
Yes.
I've seen a lot of those decks. I honestly just think the blue-red versions are better. Better
I agree.
mana. And Nicol Bolas has not impressed, especially with Rekindling Phoenix showing back up. And there's more lava coils and
Dude, just play 4 copies of Nimazet. 4 Sark and Fireblood, 4 Nimazet. And then whatever else you want to play, doesn't matter. Just blue and red cards. I like that. That core engine is very good.
yeah. Also, probably because of cheapness, mono blue is everywhere on Moto. And I don't know if it's going to be real life, but if you play that on Magic Online, like Nimbizit's very good in that matchup.
Oh yeah, it just kills everything.
Yep.
And you also are just naturally favored against them because you have a bunch of shocks
Burn
or
and yeah, cheap cards.
cheap
and
cards that interact
counters
with
and-
their Curious Obsession draws.
Yeah.
What else?
Okay.
Ross.
Mr. Alberto wants to know how Jeskai can adapt in the standard metagame.
Well, we'll talk about that in the third video.
Yeah, and while we are on our 10-minute break in just a few, if you want to check out my article on StarcyGames.com, there's actually one of the decks that I mentioned. And yeah, it's great.
Titan Mito asks, do you think a Selesnya mid-range good stuff, not token version, can come up and compete?
No, because the tokens are great. I mean, any deck that plays Selesnya, I think, should be playing at least 3 copies of March of the Multitudes, unless your deck is just super white weenie beatdown. And even then, a late game March of the Multitudes is never bad. Like, and I don't know, like, you don't need to play a bunch of the weird token synergy stuff. I think just 4 Venerate Luxodon is enough. But like, March Luxodon is just nuts. Like, it's just very good. So
Agreed.
my hand is great.
I think I've had this exact hand.
In your dream last night, or
No, in a draft last week.
That's right.
The exact hand.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be on the play here.
I don't know if I'm supposed to keep it, but I need a poll on chat. We need to know if
Keep
I
her mulligan?
chat, yeah.
All All right, let's do 1 for mole, 2 for keep. Go. Spam it.
Or just M and K.
Oh, sure. While we're waiting.
Yeah, while we're waiting.
Okay, we got 4 keeps. Snap mall keep.
5 keeps and a mole.
Now we got all the 1s and 2s. Which one was 1 and which one was 2?
1's mole, 2's keep.
A lot of keeps. A lot of keeps.
All right.
All right,
Lot
they
of
just want me to
choosing
lose.
That's probably true.
That is
true.
true.
All right, well,
I'll keep it.
You left it in their hands, so.
I'll keep it. Go. Ooh, no 2.
Oh, no.
Go.
Dude, I'm not playing into your sweepers no more, man.
Angel.
Yep.
I got a radical idea. Let's draw some cards.
Sounds like a pretty good idea to me.
All right. This is a tough choice. Opt.
Mm-hmm. Is it trying to hit your 3rd land to lava coil as well, or just playing lava coil and losing velocity? Because I have that problem a lot.
Go. I think I'm supposed to do that. It could punish me, but...
Go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you're never getting punished.
Yeah,
Nice.
And I probably should have mulliganed this hand, but I don't know. It's just like lands and spells and a pretty good... I don't know, it's like cards I boarded in.
I think I might just play it and say go.
Sure. I will just play this.
Yeah. Opt.
Sure.
Bottom. Draw. Why are you getting that
I'm
information?
just curious.
But that's not how magic works.
I don't care.
Because now you know
I don't care.
what. All right, go.
What's the card under lava coil in your graveyard, Brad?
It is a radical idea.
Don't
Take
you
it.
mean a bradical idea?
16. Okay.
Guess I could have cast that last turn, but just in case. All right. Let's drake it up.
Yep.
Go. I do like that the difference of these decks. All your cards are rares and mythics, and all my cards are commons and uncommons.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty sweet. All right. I'm going to play a Knight of Grace and say go.
Don't want to block.
Don't want to attack.
Don't want to attack into a
Not
drake.
really. Just going to block it, and then you're going to cannonade me or whatever. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. So you have 3 cards.
Yeah.
Electromancer.
Sure.
Lava Coil.
Lightning strike this.
Okay.
All right, get an egg.
Yeah. Beacon bolt and egg.
I think it's wrong to attack, but because I'm here, I feel like I should. I don't know. Versus here sometimes is weird because now I know I'm just taking 2 extra damage. Take it. I feel like it's wrong to attack, but I still did it. My turn or your turn? You're still thinking?
I don't know what I'm doing, man. I mean, I'm just. You have so many resources at your disposal. I'm just dead.
Yeah, this is
Crackling Drake has just flooded me.
go.
Like,
Yeah.
honestly, it's buried me right now. Because I've used like some removal spells on them.
Also, I don't flood.
Yeah, because of Radical Idea. And you have 2
Yeah.
more in the yard, and you have 5 cards in the hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to check the tape, see if you drew any extras.
I have drawn extra cards
That's true.
by
That's
the
true.
rules of the game.
Lava Coil is a big deal. I guess maybe I should just not have any removal in my deck. Just all creatures, and then just force you to have an answer every time. Or at least Lightning Strike should probably not be in my deck. That's probably what we need to be doing. We just need honor guards and over lightning strikes, I think, to turn off this draw spell as well as just have more threats. Lightning strike, even though it's killed Electromancer, I don't think I need to worry about it. I think I just have to let you do your thing.
I am going to Bolt Angel discarding Electromancer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to attack you. And it's going to be for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay. At 13.
And then I'm going to Charter Course.
Sure. And that's a Sulfur Falls. Okay.
Yep. Your turn.
Well, all these Planeswalkers just look pretty embarrassing against this deck, which is makes me happy that that deck is winning, honestly, because it's cool.
Because it's, yeah, this is your jam.
Every time I look over, there's a Crackling Drake in play.
Yeah, and I usually have killed one. I don't even know if I can attack. I think I might just die if I attack.
What are you at?
I'm at 13.
Yeah.
You just hit me for 7, and you went up to 8.
Yeah.
You have 10 in play, so you just have to play 3 spells if I attack.
I got 'em.
So. Okay, go. You have 3 that includes this as a removal?
No, but I might be able to find it. I've got a lot of time.
No, I know.
All right, we're going to start off with Charter Course.
Yep, that's 9.
Discard.
Nice. Yeah, we're dead.
All right. Lava Coil.
10. Yeah, I'm dead.
I want to do it.
I'm letting you do it, but I'm dead.
Radical Idea, discarding a mountain.
Brad's so used to playing Golgari, he thinks his mountains are swamps.
Radical Idea. These, okay, so the green ones draw cards, and the black ones kill things. These ones, blue card draw, red, black. That's how I see Magic.
Just see magic.
Is it weird?
See magic in green and black, yeah.
No, it just didn't like.
It is pretty weird.
Your card advantage color and your removal color.
Yeah, this is exiled.
Yep. Opt.
Sure.
Oh, I did it in the wrong order. Trigger.
All right, yeah. I'm dead. Will you attack this for a bunch? Okay.
Nope.
You win.
Pity game. Pity game.
What? That was a
game
match.
3.
That was game 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
I won game 1
I
very
won the
easily.
match.
Brad won the match. I won game 1 very easily. Do you not
Yes.
remember this?
No.
Just smashed me.
I've been making puns on Brad's names.
You have a job to do. All right, well, let's talk about this matchup because it does feel that if Adanto's Vanguard and Histories and a little bit of extra stuff in the early game comes down, this deck could stumble. Because you didn't have an aggressive curve that game. If you did, I was in trouble. My opening hand was Radical Idea, Beacon Bolt, Mountain Island.
That hand's great.
Well, not if you just go Adanto's Vanguard into History into Phoenix.
That's lands and spells.
None of your lands do anything. They just turn into spells. They just draw a card or
But
kill things.
yeah, under pressure that could work with
I
me
understand.
here.
I am.
Literally work with me.
Okay.
We're working right now.
What we're saying is chat was right.
Chat was right. The hand was great.
Yeah,
Chad is always
you
right.
did win very easily.
To be fair, they did know what was in your hand, and they probably would have said Maul if your hand was just like
1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop,
yeah,
4
just
drop.
busted.
No, okay. I'll be on a serious note. The Boros Angels deck in this matchup, you have to be the aggressor, and you cannot afford to have draws that don't have like a 2-drop creature. I don't think.
Yeah, it's weird because, like you said, like Silhouette seems like it could be good in the matchup to stay alive, but at the same time,
You
I
just
can hold it back.
right. Like I think if you just not attack the Crackling Drake on that one turn, I would have just died. That one attack, like
You
not
still kind of just died.
sure, but I mean like you could have overwhelmed me to a point where I never get any real value out of Seal Away. Like it's never, and I'm always holding up 2 mana, so I don't take a big chunk for 7 or
Well,
whatever.
the problem is like, so I have this weird thing when we're on the versus live. I've always had this issue with moving my hands around and then thinking while I'm moving to keep pace for videos, and the moment I move my hand, you start to react to that, and then I'm like, oh, they might have this. I shouldn't do that because that's how my brain would have worked. Like when I say, should I attack with this creature, my hand's moving to it because I'm just more animated here.
Sure.
And then you react to that thing, but like to me doing that to that thing, but I'm not now processing. I shouldn't, but now you've given it away, and now I feel like I have an advantage. So on that turn, it's like I know you have Silhouette, but maybe I'm supposed to attack in this spot, but it's all so convoluted that I'm like, I'll just attack and trade the resource, and that was a mistake. But I just kind of did it. I don't know why. That's why. I was just explaining.
I don't even know how to respond to that because I didn't think I tipped that I had seal away, but
Oh, 100,
clearly
yeah.
I just touched my lands or whatever.
Or you just like moved your shoulder or something. I caught it. I know that you had seal away.
Gotta get up pretty early in the morning to get one by Bradley Nelson.
I don't even know what to say. Okay.
I don't know.
Anywho,
What?
I still have a good pun. Because you can see everything, you're Mad-Eyed Nelson, like from Harry Potter.
I like it. I like that one. That's good.
Alrighty. Well, this Boros deck, you need to always be putting pressure on your opponent. In this particular matchup, the creatures, are going to be powerful if they stick and start hitting me. But if I don't put enough pressure on you in the early turns, like it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like I had a handful of removal that game, and I killed your first like 4 threats, and then the 5th one just killed me, and you drew 7 or whatever, and the other 3 just ran away with the game, and you ended the game at 14 life. I played a 3-drop creature. I think I played a Rekindling Phoenix at some point and Nightingale at some point, and you just very easily dispatch all of them with things like Lava Coil and whatnot. So it didn't really matter. You just have to hit your curve. And I think because of that, you need to like not have Lightning Strike. You need to just let them do their Electromancer things, which I hate recommending. Letting them do Electromancer things is disgusting. But you just can't afford. I mean, maybe you just don't want Seal-Aways. I don't know.
We'll have to figure it out. But
tough.
we're gonna be taking a break here, going to the third match where we play.
Do we not want to answer some questions?
Oh, do we have any questions, Ross? Or are they all just puns on our names?
We have both. Trotsky asks, are there any concerns that Arclight Phoenix gets weaker as Golgari brings the potential for Graveyard Hate into the metagame? And you're sort of running into that.
Well, so Graveyard Hate doesn't really hit Golgari that well. It's because like it's fine, but also like what Graveyard Hate? Like Silent Gravestone?
I guess.
I mean, there's also like Remorseful Spirit.
Deathgord Scavenger, Remorseful Spirit.
Well, Deathgord Scavenger does not interact with Drake when you do it on the turn that it goes off. So it just doesn't even interact with it on that turn.
It doesn't interact with Crackling Drake at all.
But not
it still
Drake,
counts.
Phoenix, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Every time Brad says Drake, he means Phoenix.
But he also
Pillar
has Drake in his
Magma
deck.
Spray. It's this is Magma Spray, Magma Jet, Pillar Flame all over again. For anyone that doesn't know that, during block testing for a Pro Tour, we were at Todd's house every day playing Magic. And that format had Magma Spray and Magma Jet. And I called Magma Jet is a 2-mana deal 2 scry 2. And Magma Spray is, we know that I just rotated. I called Magma Jet Magma Spray.
Yep.
And I called Magma
Spray
Pillar of Flame. So I literally was calling a card Magma Spray, which was in the format, but I was referring to a different card.
Yes.
So then I was like, so when you Magma Spray the Planeswalker and you do this, and like someone's like, hold up. What?
Target creature.
Yeah.
So I'll say this: Graveyard Hate is not good against Golgari. It's just not. Like people keep asking me, like, what if they board in these like Remorseful Clerics and Gravestones or whatever? Because some games I'll get a lot of value out of like Find Finality bringing back 2 creatures or Golgari Findbroker bringing back a thing, and I don't know. That's not how they beat you. Like, that's just how they make the game go longer. But if you're playing a card that counters like half of a card, or playing a card that only counters like one thing later on, the split card can just cast Finality, or the Golgari Findbroker can just be a 3/4 for 4. And like, you're also spending a resource to try to slow these things down or to eliminate that advantage that they gain. And then like, they'll just play a bunch of Explore stuff and hit their land drops and cast Carnage Tyrants and Planeswalkers. And it just doesn't matter. So I don't think Graveyard Hate is going to be an issue for either Golgari or Arclight Phoenix, because like, they just don't have to put the Arclight Phoenix in the graveyard in game 2 until they're ready to put it into play on that one turn. And Gravestone barely does anything against that. You have to have 4 mana just sitting up.
No, I agree completely.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that also answers the question about Graveyard Hate. So let's move down. We got Philip619 asking about the potential for Angrath in Standard. Powerful card, but is that a difficult one to play right now, given that we don't have access to the Rakdos lands?
It's actually like it's the type of card that Golgari would just love, right? It can like remove creatures from play, it can do grindy things, and it's just not good enough right now though, because
Stomping Ground or Blood Crypt.
Well, it's also just like the 3-color decks, like you have to have a really good reason to be a 3-color deck, and Angrath is not a Teferi.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you did briefly mention, like, it's off color or whatever. I'm just like, well, Teferi's off color too, and Teferi's like 4 of it.
Yeah,
A bunch of decks, but Angrath is not Teferi. You're absolutely right.
yeah, and that's what you need your splashes to accomplish. Also, I'm a true believer in control decks liking to be 3 colors more than aggressive decks because of in your first 7 card consistency. Like a control deck is going to be trying to draw out of things. Like it can for a while, like for a couple turns, you can be missing one of your colors even, and then because like what if you're missing red for Clarion? And you just play that on turn 5 or turn later, you've taken a little bit of damage, but it still did what you wanted it to do.
Right. And on turn 5, it's not even that bad because usually you get to go Clarion plus hold up a counter.
Exactly. So you can survive for a few turns. Also, you have more card advantage to like sift through your deck to try to find it, and things of that. But whereas like other decks, like you want your Angrath on turn 5, and playing a black-red deck does not seem appealing in this format in the slightest.
Well, I've seen some sword point diplomacy burn decks that those have been popping off my noggin.
If that deck exists, then that deck should just play Angrath in the sideboard. Why not?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, that deck's a weird one, but definitely has beaten me the one time I played against it. Did they just get sword point diplomacy, and I have no idea what to do. It's like they're all burn spells, so I can take 3 now or take 3 later. I'm just like, okay, you can just have them all.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's really cool.
I do like that burn deck. I think it's neat.
You would.
Yeah, I would.
You got one more question or no?
Mazes End asked, why are there so few Settle the Wreckages around Standard right now?
So there's not a lot of decks that Settle is great against, and one of them that would be great against is red-white aggressive decks, and they're prepared for Settle because that is such a damaging card, especially because before they used to play a bunch of Shalais to protect from it, but now it's with like the Enigma and Crackling Drake showing up, it's real embarrassing to play a 3/4 for 4 mana. So
I mean, not to mention it gets destroyed by Ravenous Chupacabra.
Yes, it's a big target there, and so Phoenix is like jumping in to be better against these cards. So Settle the Wreckage is even getting better against these white-based aggressive decks, but they're running Banefire in the sideboard.
Yeah, and
so even the decks that the card Settle to Wreckage would be best against have Banefire.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing Alex Hahn's Boros deck. Or I played it for 2 matches, right? And I just had 3 Banefire on my sideboard. So if my opponent ever settles Wreckage with me from a control deck, they're just dead the next turn.
I mean, that's what's great about Banefire is when you're playing it against a deck with Settle the Wreckage, it's really tough to know how to attack. But if you have a Banefire in hand, it doesn't matter anymore. You just send it all, try to get as much damage in as possible. Maybe not everything, but you try to get as much damage in as possible. It makes it a lot easier. And then you don't, on those last couple turns, you don't even care if they like take all your creatures away because you get that extra land that gets you to the burn spell.
Yeah, and even though we're saying this, there are 2 copies of Settle the Wreckage in my deck list.
No, I think that Settle has to come back to deal with the Dantos Vanguards. I'm just saying the reason we're not seeing like the card be a 4x unbeatable with Carnage Tyrants all over the place and all this stuff is that the format, it's just not that good in the metagame.
I mean, I think most decks are also just designed in such a way where they can play super long games of Magic. Like the Golgari decks have 2 to 4 copies of Memorial to Folly, a lot of Fine Brokers, a lot of Fine Finality that kind of change these cards unless you have these huge turns if you have enough mana. And just giving your opponent mana just feels so bad right now. If they have Experimental Frenzy, like you just give them extra mana to cast more spells. They can hold lands in their hand to just cast Risk Factor out of the graveyard. If you're Settling the Wreckage, a deck with like Carnage Tyrant, sometimes they just get to go like Big Thing and a Planeswalker in the same turn. Or you're just tapping so much mana to cast Settle the Wreckage that they just get to play Planeswalker on that same turn.
So I don't know how much this standard format, Wizards, this is a little bit of a longer rant, but I think it's good.
We got time. Okay. Go for it.
Yeah. So this is the first set that a lot of the new recruits that have been flooding a year and a half ago, this is around the time that they would have probably started working on sets that we're seeing.
Oh, I mean, this is not 100% confirmed, but as far as I know, this is Andrew Brown's first set that he worked on, and he was the first of the Michael Majors, Tom Ross group to come in and start working on this new set. In the what was their name called? Not the Future League, but they had their own name. Play Design. Yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering. Yeah, Play Design. So, my point that I'm trying to make here is pretty simple, but it's complex for the format. it really feels like every card is answerable in this format, and every removal spell is very specific. They don't do a lot of the things, but finding the combinations and finding ways to counter them all is really easy. And so we're running in circles right now because we haven't seen a format like this in a really long time.
It's awesome.
It is.
I love it.
But like we finally found a format where like I can't tell you like one removal spell over another that is like definitely you have to play. Right? Like right now I'm saying Lava Coil's good, right? But like last week I liked Justice Strike.
Yeah.
And a week before I liked Shock. And maybe Lightning Strike's still good, but I don't know. You know, like there's 4 base removal spells, like 3 in red.
Yeah.
And they've all been good and bad in the last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Carnage Tyrant is showing up in these decks, but like I just saw that my main deck Carnage Tyrants 2 weeks ago, Gogari would just be like, Vraska, kill your thing, it's over. But now I have a Carnage Tyrant. I'm like, oh man, I can't beat a Lyra? 2 weeks ago I was crushing this thing. How am I losing to a Lyra?
Yeah, and then
you know, and like and so that's what I'm saying is like I finally feel like Wizards had some mistakes in the past, right? They had all these green card advantage things, and they had all these things. Right now, we don't have those. Explorer is card advantage, but not great card advantage. Golgari's literally a deck based around card advantage, and I'm not drowning you.
That's fair. No, that's fair. And I mean, that's actually such an accurate statement because I have never felt like the Explorer mattered that much when I was playing a control deck. And that's why, like, I think Clarion, just to clean up the pressure, is enough. You have to weather the storm of like 1 or 2 planeswalkers along the way. And then Expansion Explosion just gets you out of it, like immediately. Like this big burst of card advantage is all you need to really catch back up from the minute little 2-for-1s that you get from the Explorer and the Fine Broker and sometimes even Eldritch Reborn popping off. You know, it's like, you know.
And so I think that this is a great format. I don't even think there's anything that's really technically I would consider a mistake yet. That like a lot of people are like Carnage Tyrant's too good. It's like, well, we can just play the strategies that are good against Carnage Tyrant.
You just played a Carnage Tyrant against my Lear Dawnbringer.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Selesnya tokens can come back and beat all these Carnage Tyrant decks. You know, like hyper aggressive decks. It's better against. So
I mean, I would honestly, I don't know how good Carnage Tyrant is in a lot of matchups, but I would love to see the 3-mana Wrath that destroys creatures with like toughness 4 or greater.
Slaughter the Strong. Slaughter the Strong.
No, it's
there's Citywide Bust, but there's
Citywide Bust.
There's 2 different ones, but yeah, that could be good in like.
I would love to see something like Citywide Bust come to play. Just if Carnage Tyrant becomes like the thing, and then it will no longer be the thing because you just are playing a white weenie deck with like a 3-mana removal spell that kills all their big stuff and just lets you shove in. Like it's
no,
awesome.
like there's a lot of all the removal seems situational, but very good at doing the specific thing. Like I was talking to my brother about Standard the other day, and I'm like, the most frustrating thing about this format to me, and it's just one little thing. It's about Jeskai control, is that Seal Away answers every problem Jeskai has in the creatures that attack them, the ones that they have the hardest time dealing with, but it's terrible against every other threat. Like every other threat in the format, it's terrible against, right? Like Electromancer, you can deal with it, but like Adanto's Vanguard, you're like, I don't know how to deal with this card. It's like but the Seal Away doesn't. Yeah. Phoenix just keeps hitting you. Seal Away. But then it's like, do I hit an Explore creature?
Or
do
History of Benalia?
History has like Vigilance. Aurelia has Vigilance. Like that's the one most infuriating thing. This removal spell that I loved playing before, like last season, it was like, crew my thing, get it. I was like, this card is great. It doesn't even have to be in combat. I can just get all these random, like it just comes down whenever I wanted to. And now it only deals with the cards I can't deal with.
Yeah.
And that's so frustrating about a removal spell. It's cool. It's awesome. What?
You're literally saying all the things that I've been thinking for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like the removal spells like that. Like there's these problems and there's answers, but you can't overload on them. You have to be subtle and you have to figure it out. There's a big
you have
web
to be
in
like
this
1
format.
to 2 Justice Strikes, 1 to 2 Seal Away, some number of like Lava Coil or Lightning Strike, or maybe 1 Settle the Wreckage, maybe 1 Cleansing Nova.
Or your entire strategy literally has to find the hole for the week. You have to find wherever things are missing. Yeah. And maybe it's not the format where you just evolve your deck as it goes. Maybe it's finding the right deck for the metagame and not being too early or too late. I don't know, but it's a really interesting, fascinating format. And I think it's one of the reasons why we're just seeing, like, usually Standard does not have this big of an appeal. Like, everyone's enjoying it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll definitely, I want to touch on the thing you just said, where it might not be about changing your deck. It might be about changing decks. And changing decks is something you are very known for. In previous standard formats, you were like the metagame hopper. Like whenever a deck would be good, you would jump to that deck, and the next week you would say it's bad, and you would jump to this other deck, and you would have this like hot knife through butter and top 8 Grand Prix after Grand Prix after Grand Prix. Now,
I do miss those days.
right, but lately standard has been way more about like tuning the best deck for the expected metagame, like changing your Rakdos aggro deck. Like maybe you only, or maybe this week you play Bomat Courier, maybe this week you don't. With Team Energy, it's like, okay, well, now everyone needs to be playing like 2 copies of Confiscation Coup in the main deck or whatever. Like it's the subtle things, but you always try to play the same deck. Now, I think that you actually have the option to do either right now.
Yes,
which is really cool.
Yep.
Like you can keep playing Golgari. Like Golgari has literally, I want to say like 40 different cards.
But your deck
different
has to be
separate cards.
built really well.
Right. You have the option, like you have the option to choose
you
between.
can't be on versus live.
And you can't play it on versus
Yeah,
live.
you can't play it on versus live because you can't win. But you have basically 40 different cards to choose from when building your deck, like 40 individual cards. And to me, that's
I don't even know if Golgari's that
ridiculous.
any good, because if you saw the deck dump, not even a single 1/5
really.
No.
Oh, come on. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. I saw the first 3 decks.
Anyway, we're gonna move to a
we
break
have to
here.
go.
One last thing before the break, or actually 2 things. First, Dave V628 subscribed with Twitch Prime, so
Thank
shout
you.
out to him. And one last quick question from Jasper VDVA Art. It's for Brad. Do you like Magma Jet in current standard?
Get out. Ban him.
Wait, is it
Block
legal?
him.
Is Magma Jet legal?
He gets a 60-second timeout. Anyway.
All right, well, thanks for watching Versus Live. We'll be right back with one more match as we continue the standard Survivor. That was it. Standard
Survivor. We both survived and died.
Yeah, it was 1-1.
It's
But,
good, but
we
yeah.
got Jeskai Control with Azor's Gateway coming up to face off against this Izzet Arclight Phoenix deck.
Is it spells?
Izzet Spells, but it is an Izzet Arclight Phoenix deck. It's going to be a tough one for the control deck, I think.
I think it's going to be a good match.
I do too.
I think it's going to be a match. So stay tuned. We'll be back in 10 minutes, and queue up your questions with Ross or your puns on names or whatever you do in Twitch chat. I don't know, but we'll see you then.
We have fun.